Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Chaya Napash coming at you with another lesson. And I don't usually say breaking news unless I believe it's actually breaking news. And this right here is breaking news. The beginning of the famine of the word is upon us. I mean, it's very, very close. Okay. A Canadian man was jailed for posting so called hate speech online. And they recently brought a bill to the table, right? And we're gonna listen to this. Okay, we're gonna listen to some videos, and we're gonna show you that, you know, the famine of the word is upon us. So let's go ahead and play this, okay?
Can you guarantee that if C9 passes, no Canadian will end up being charged because of something they've posted on Twitter or Facebook?
Well, if they commit the crime of willfully promoting hatred against another person,
a crime with a definition that you're changing.
So, but it's possible that they could be convicted for what they willfully promoting hate online today. So certainly I would hope if someone.
What is hate? What constitutes hate? You see, when you speak the truth that is against Esau Edom, that's constituted as hate. We're gonna show you why this guy got locked up, because he got locked up for speaking against the you know who's. All right, the tiny tops. All right.
Commits a crime in the real world or online, that they would face the appropriate criminal penalty if in fact it's captured by the code.
We had in my riding a very disturbing case a few weeks ago where someone had mowed a swastika, a Hakenkreuz I should say, into their lawn and was charged under the existing criminal code definition. They displayed a symbol. It was found to be willfully promoting hate. Law enforcement and the Crown agreed that they could lay that charge. So why is your bill at all necessary when we already have existing powers, which, to Mr. Housefather's point earlier, are simply not being enforced as often as they could be?
This is an important question. I'll answer it very quickly. When you have the willful promotion of hate, the person who's convicted of that could still be convicted, but also of a second charge, the willful promotion of hate using hate symbols, which would attract a greater degree of culpability and potentially a greater penalty, recognizing that the use of hate symbols, when you're willfully promoting hate, can cause greater damage to both the individual and the entirety of the community. So I don't find these points to be inconsistent with one another, but instead that behavior could potentially face an additional charge with a more serious penalty because of the manner in which a person chose to promote hate to cause more damage to an affected.
So what's happening is they're broadening the definition, or they're broadening the how would you say it? The demographic that can be charged for hate. Okay, so instead of just being about symbols and whatnot and saying something outwardly racist, like a slur or something like that, they're broadening that definition. Okay, so let's go into this case where this individual was jailed for speaking against the small hats. And what I'm gonna do is, first of all, let me do this. Let me go ahead and read this. This is Amos 8 and verse 11. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh." Okay, there's going to be a time we're not going to be out there. All right, prophesying, breaking down the scriptures to you. Okay, and we're seeing that you other camps are missing oil. Okay, so a lot of these people from these other camps, they're going to be looking for the men of Great Millstone in that day. Okay, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. Okay, in that day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst. Yeah, because there's going to be a time where, you know, the decree is going to go out. We're not going out anymore. Okay, through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And that will be the end of the ministry in these last days. Okay, and we're not going to be out there breaking down nothing to you. So let's go ahead and play this, because they're coming with laws to crack down on the truth. Okay, don't get it misconstrued. The target is the men of the Lord. When you read Revelations, the 12th chapter, it speaks in the 17th verse that he was wroth with those, the remnant of the seed. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Let's get that real quick, and then we'll jump to that. All right. Because these points have to be made. This is Revelations 12. Matter of fact, let me read verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time, right? They're seeing these different things happening in the sky, these different UFO sightings, which they know are the angels, at least the ones that are higher up. They know that these are angels. These, they've been listening to the prophets. They know what that's about. Okay, they read the scriptures. Okay, or they have people, that study the scriptures, and they know exactly what that means. Okay, so they know their time is almost up. They know Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come back, and they're getting ready to fight against our Lord. This is Revelations 12 and 17. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, right, with the Israelites, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High. That's the elect, and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. That's the prophets. See, so the main target, the main people that they're angry at are the prophets of the Lord. See, so this is why they're getting ready. That's why they're doing all this. Okay, they're doing all this. That's why words have to be seasoned with salt. But one way or another, regardless of the fact, we are going to be numbered with the transgressors. But we're not going to give Esau Edom an alley-oop, okay, by saying foolish things, right? Let's go ahead and play this.
We start this Wednesday with a precedent-setting sentencing in North Bay, where a man found guilty of hate crimes for anti-Semitic propaganda will receive jail time. 51-year-old Kenneth Paulin was charged in June after a 7-month investigation by North Bay police. He faced charges of the willful promotion of hate against Jewish people and the willful promotion of anti-Semitism by condoning, denying, or downplaying the Holocaust. During the court case,
that's why you got to watch what you say when it comes to that event. Okay, we don't even speak on that event. Okay, we don't even speak on that event. All right, because we know what's up. All right, but trust me, they're broadening the definition. Okay, they're putting a lot of things under this category of so-called hate. Right, and I'm going to show you that even one of the Canadian lawmakers, or person that's high up in Congress, he's advocating to ban certain verses of the Bible. Okay, we're going to show you that. All right, let's go ahead and keep going.
The Toronto-based Friends of Simon Wiesenthal Center for Holocaust Studies provided an impact statement saying the online content spread hatred, repeated false conspiracy theories, and denied atrocities. It's the first time.
And by the way, dealing with the false conspiracy theories, they put out disinformation on purpose. So a lot of things we see, we think is right. That's Esau putting out disinformation. Okay. Like that Walmart thing about them getting ready to shut down the stores on November 1st. That was a lie. That was all propaganda. Okay. Because I looked it up, and it was propaganda. I looked it up a few days ago, and it was propaganda. But the way they push it on the way it's pushed on the internet, you would think it's real. This is why you got to triple check, double check everything. But there's so much disinformation out there, Akim. It's like, at the end of the day, we just got to rely on Yahweh Shai, and just do our best, because it's just so much deception. Okay. So let's continue.
In Canada, someone has received jail time for denying the Holocaust.
Holocaust denial is not just...
And they do that, Salaki, I'm sorry for stopping, but they do that in Germany. They've been doing that. In Germany, you can't speak against that situation in Germany. You cannot even speak against that, or you'll be put in jail. They'll treat you like you just robbed a bank. Okay, so this is going to be everywhere. It's not just going to be in Germany anymore. As you can see, it's in Canada. It's going to be in America. It's going to be all around the world. You're not going to be able to speak against these people. And remember, the the what you would call it. Remember during this, was it the C-19? No, actually no, it was when that event happened with the Stinians. They were locking people up. I remember they locked this Ishmaelite woman up for posting something online. Okay, so that's coming. That's coming. This is the world they're setting up. There's not going to be any more free speech. Okay, let me read this, man. Salakia. Let me read this real quick. This is Isaiah 29 and verse 21. Matter of fact, I'll start at 20. It says, "For the terrible one is brought to naught." That's Esau Edom. He's about to be taken down and brought to naught. "And the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off." Yeah, they're watching everything you do. They're seeing what you post online. They're seeing, they're watching everything. "That make a man an offender for a word," right? The things you say, you're gonna be criminalized for it. "And lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught." You see, and they're coming up against the just, which is the elect, and they use you Israelites to promote that cancel culture, and they really turned it around, and they didn't make no laws about people speaking against you, right? Right? They could say you're 13%, this, that, the usual suspect. They could talk all that shit, and that's not deemed as hate. Or Jake can go out speaking about how he's going out to go put a N-word to death, okay? And go do a music video at a man's gravesite. Huh? Yeah. They're allowed to do that. That's not a crime. That's not a hate crime, Go and make fun of a man that's dead and do a video at his gravesite so his mother can see it, mocking the man. That's not hate. But the main purpose of that was so what? So that they can use it for Amalek. Okay? And you can't speak against them elites, right? And who are those elites? Those elites are Amalekites. Those elites are Amalekites, all right? You see? At least the mass majority of them. So you can't speak against them people. See? You see how it works? Yeah. So they use you, Jakes, to push the ultimate agenda. Let's go ahead. Let's bring this back a little bit.
Holocaust denial is not just offensive. It's not just ignorant. It is hate speech, and it fuels anti-Semitism. The ruling shows the Jewish community and all Canadians that there are real consequences to spreading hate. So we welcome the ruling, and we're very thankful.
So hold on, was what's his name? That guy there, Mark. What's that guy's name? That dude, that Edomite, that speaks about how the Native Americans were savages. It was good what we did to the Native Americans. What's that guy's name? Damn, I can't remember his name anymore, man. I can't remember his name anymore. I know brothers know who I'm talking about. But that individual on X, he's talking about how what they did to the Native Americans was good. That's not hate. That thing that they did to the Native Americans, wiping them out, that wasn't hate. And him promoting it, and you celebrating Christopher Columbus Day, that's not hate, right? Because that is not for you. It's not about you. It's about them. You see? You see what I'm saying? Matter of fact, the scriptures speak about Esau speaking wickedly. Let's get that. All right? They don't give a damn about the plight of you Israelites. Salaki, give me a second. Separate it. Salakia. This is Psalm 73 and verse 8. It says, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. This is what he was doing, that individual I'm speaking about. His name slips me, okay? But you brothers know who I'm talking about. I mean, you can put it in the comment section if you know who I'm talking about. It says, they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Yeah. And what Yuval Noah said about we don't need the Most High. That's hate speech against the Most High. Okay? That's hate speech against the Most High right there. All right? But they don't care about that. But this is supposed to be a godly nation, right? This nation was built off Christian values, right? BS. This nation was built off of evil, witchcraft, and hypocrisy. Yeah, they use the Bible, but it's pure hypocrisy because they don't do anything that's in the Bible, as the scriptures say. Okay? Who are you to declare my statutes? All right? And that thou shouldest take my covenant in my mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction. They don't listen to instruction of the scriptures. Okay? So let's go.
Thankful to the North Bay Police and to the Crown for working hard on this case.
Last month, Paulin was sentenced to 9 months behind bars and 2 years probation.
Yeah, and soon, Salakia, I didn't mean to click that, but and soon there's not going to be any trial date. Okay, they're going to lock you up indefinitely. Okay? And they're going to do it, and it's going to be legal. See? Because certain things are legal under certain circumstances. Okay, that's why the cruel Lord was speaking about what? Was speaking about issuing the Insurrection Act. Okay? Yeah, they're doing all these things legally. That's why they're passing these new laws and broadening the horizons of what's considered hate. And now I'm going to show you that this individual here, one of these individuals, okay, one of these top liberal MPs, Mark Miller, it suggests charging people for preaching Bible verses he finds are hateful. And we just happen to move from the main areas, prophesying, man. So that's all through the Spirit. Okay, so when they came in that area we used to prophesy, that after we left, a week later, the news was in that area, interviewing the Christians and speaking about how, how they think what the Christians are doing needs to stop and so on and so forth. And we just happen to move from there because where we prophesied as Christians around, where we used to prophesy as Christians around and so on and so forth. So the Spirit had us move from there. This is why we're in a grass, an area was, secluded. Okay. So Esau's getting ready to come down. So Yahweh Shem Yahushai is in control of all this. And it's all through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That we do what we do. We're moving. Hey, the Spirit is like the wind. Okay. I'm telling you, a week after we left that place, the news was there demonizing the Christians. Okay. See? But we weren't there. So they couldn't go and happen to interview us. Oh, what are these guys about? Oh, yeah, these guys, and then try to, these are the Hebrew Israelites and try to demonize us. Nah, we were out of there. Okay? So that's all the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? Nothing happens by coincidence. Man's goings is of the Lord. Okay? How then can a man understand his own way? So let's go ahead and listen to this. Let's listen to what this MP has to say. Oh, excuse me.
Mr. Ross, is despicable and as unlawful, I believe the statements made by Mr. Shakawi were and would be if they were stated again. We don't know why the prosecution chose not to continue with the charges. And perhaps it is to Mr. Fortin's point. I just want to dig in a bit about the concept of good faith, Mr. Ross. In Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Romans, there's other passages, there is clear hatred towards, for example, homosexuals. I don't understand how the concept of good faith could be invoked if someone were literally invoking a passage from, in this case, the Bible, but there are other religious texts that say the same thing, and somehow say that this is good faith. I mean, clearly there are situations in these texts where these statements are hateful. They should not be used.
You see that? So he's saying what? That those the scriptures in Leviticus and Deuteronomy and wherever else, because it's in the New Testament too, speaking against the alphabets, okay, that should not be allowed to be used. That should be prosecuted. Okay, you see? So this is where they're going with it. This is where Esau is going with it. Okay, this is where Esau is going with it.
To invoke or be a defense, and there should perhaps be discretion for prosecutors to press charges. I just want to understand what your notion of good faith is in this context, where there are clearly passages in religious texts that are clearly hateful.
Right. So this is what they're doing. Okay. See the people, the comments, the attack on Christians is real. I'm pretty sure he needs to read the Bible. They don't care about the Bible. About needs to read the Bible. And the Bible does speak against that behavior. It does. Okay? But Esau thinks he's above the Most High, and the Most High is going to show Esau he's not above. You're not above the Most High. You're nothing but a man. Okay? And the lowest of all men at that. Okay? Nobody voted for this, but it's not about what the people vote for. It's about what the elites want. Okay? All right? These people don't understand what's coming. These so-called Christians, hey, they're getting ready to denounce Jesus. That's how serious it's going to be. They're getting ready to denounce Jesus. All right? These fake Christians. Because trust me, the persecution that's coming, they're not equipped for. Okay? The scriptures say that those that follow Yahweh Shai, not Jesus, Yahweh Shai, the true name of the Lord, they truly follow him and what he says, right? Which these Christians don't. He's going to be like a rock. He's going to be like a man who built his house on a rock. And when the winds come, he's going to be stable. They're not going to be stable. All right. All right. So let me read this real quick, and then I'm going to show you something else. So it's simultaneously, while they're doing this, they're passing other wicked laws. And I'm going to show you something else. This is Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." Okay, hey, this was already planned from way before. They didn't just think about this year. Okay, this has been planned decades ago. Okay, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people. That's right. And who's the poor of his people? Ultimately, the poorest of the poor amongst the Israelites is the elect. That widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Yeah, the helpless. Okay. Hey, they're taking away the SNAP. Right. And they're going to take away the rest of these benefits y'all have too. And they're going to take it away in Canada too. Don't think Canada's exempt. Oh, that's just America. No, they're going to take away in Canada. They're going to take it away in the UK. They're going to take away in all these different places. All right. And then in order for you to get them benefits again, right, and to have some type of normalcy, remember they were saying that during the C-19, you're going to need to take a particular thing, okay, that you're going to have to insert into your right hand or your forehead. You understand? This is what's coming. All right. It doesn't necessarily have to be the right hand. It could be the left hand. You know, there's a scripture that says the hands, but you're going to have to take that, right, in the digital ID. Okay. You're going to have to comply. You're going to have to comply with whatever they do, right? So whether they tell you, okay, just take the digital ID for now and such, but that's going to go from the digital ID to be what? To go into to the microchip. Okay. So you're going to have to take this. You see? And even this talking point that I'm talking about, the CHIP, that's going to be, you're not going to be allowed to talk about that in a negative light in the time to come. Okay? You're not going to be able to talk about what they're doing wickedly, period, in the time to come. So while they're passing these wicked laws, okay, right, and trying to ban the scriptures and ban people from speaking, so-called hate speech, right, which is basically tied to what's said in the scriptures, because this is the goal. The goal is to take away the scriptures, right, and to ultimately to take away the prophets. This is what it is. So all that hate and we don't know what hate is and this and that, just don't promote hate. And then now he's speaking about the Bible has hate verses in it. This is where they always were going with it. This was always the goal. Okay. So while they're doing that, this is another thing that they're doing. They're saying the Supreme Court of Canada. No, let's go here. Supreme Court of Canada rules 1 year mandatory minimum sentences for child. You know what? Charges are unconstitutional. So they're defending the rights of PDF files, right? They're defending the right of PDF files because, a lot of these people you see sitting in these seats, right? They be into this stuff. Okay, that's part of that occultic freakism. Okay, and a lot of these police officers are found with this stuff too. Okay, recently out here in Montreal, these police officers have been getting caught left and right. And I've been putting curses up on these cops out here too, because they're demonic. Okay. And as soon as we put the curses up on their ass, all this stuff started to come out on them. And there's people advocating for them to get body cams. So the prayers work, Akim. The curses work. Okay. So ultimately, For you know, now they're justifying the wicked. The scripture says, "Oh, woe to you that condemn the just and justify the wicked." All right. Woe to you that call evil good and good evil. Hey, they're justifying the wicked and they're condemning the just, those that read the scriptures. Same government. All right. So this is where we're going. Esau's just coming all the way out with it. He's showing his horns. We told you this was coming. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all the praises going honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.